Hello children, today I'm going to give you some instructions on SG75 competition. If you look in SLS, you will be able to find the worksheets. So the lower primary students will get a different worksheet from the upper primary students. Only the primary 1 students have received the physical copy of the worksheet. The rest of the students will have to type their answers in SLS. You are to complete this work during the holidays, and I hope that you will be meaningfully engaged. Let's unpack what this task is all about. The theme of the work is given to us, so the meaning of theme is actually what the main idea is about. So in this case, it states sustainability, building resilience, and inclusiveness in fighting COVID-19. There are some words that are quite easy to understand, but there are some words that are not. If you look at words that I have underlined, like building, resilience, fighting, COVID-19, these are words that we know. So there are only two words that I have trouble in. They are sustainability and inclusiveness. Let's look at the word sustainability. If you know how to use search engine, you might want to find out more about this word. To me, it means doing things the same way repeatedly so that it does not harm the environment and the future generations. When COVID-19 happened, there were a lot of changes. There were some changes that were good and then there were some that were bad. For example, we became competent. That means we became better in using technology, such as home-based learning or using Zoom or Google Meet. And then there were changes we didn't like because there are people who lose their family members due to this pandemic. Let's take a look at some of the changes, and these changes are represented in pictures over here. It is also for you to think about whether these actions or practices or activities are sustainable. It means whether we should continue doing them. Let's look at the student who is using the laptop for her HBL. Do you think the practice of HBL is sustainable? Do you think we can use this to replace physical lessons? Next, do you think we will be wearing masks forever? How about social distancing? There will be an impact in PE lessons and also activities that require group work. What if in the future we have another type of pandemic, a different type of viruses? What do you think we should do? Lockdown? Circuit breaker? Stay at home? Don't think about going overseas if we are supposed to stay at home. What kind of impact do you think have on people when planes can't fly anymore? If outdoor dining needs to be closed, such as restaurants or cafe, who do you think it will affect? Have you thought of vaccination for children? What are your thoughts about it? Let's look at inclusiveness. For me, it means looking through someone's eyes and accepting people as they are. Befriending people who are different from us enriches our lives because we can see things from their perspectives. Let's look at the first image. It's a baby with a hearing aid. Have you thought about how information is being passed on to the people who are deaf and mute in Singapore about COVID-19? Next, let's think about inclusiveness happening in our school. Have you ever seen students on wheelchair? How do they get around? What happens if there's a fire drill? Do we make friends with people who are similar to us? How about people who are different from us in terms of skin color, in terms of age, in terms of classes? How about children who are taller than us, maybe smarter than us, or even some children who have trouble making friends? What do you think you can do to make them feel included? Last, do you know of anyone who are having trouble coping during this pandemic? How do you think you can help them as a friend? How do you think the school is providing support or helping students to feel included during this pandemic? Let's look at the worksheet on SLS. So this worksheet is printed on both sides. For the lower primary students, you can look at the front page and answer this question by drawing. So the year is 20XX. There is no more COVID-19. So what do you think can be done to prevent another pandemic happening in the future? So you can draw your answers in this blank. On the same page, there are two questions at the bottom that you need to answer. So you will need to type your answer on SLS. Unless you are primary 1 student, then you'll write on the physical copy. If you turn to the second page, there is a task that says must do, which is what I've explained to you. Another task is optional. So if you're looking for a challenge, you can visit the SG75 website for more information. If you would like to participate in the challenge, then you will need to submit the work online on your own. Otherwise, please remember to stay to the submission deadline on SLS or physical copy and hand in to your art teacher in term 3. For the upper primary students, please fill in the blanks on SLS. Based on the columns, write your answer in SLS and tell me what you think you know about this theme on sustainability and what is it that you want to know, and also of course your future plan. If you turn to the next page, you'll be able to see translate your future plan into a physical drawing in your art sketchbook. Or perhaps if you want, you can use loose papers such as A3 or A4 size drawing papers. If you're looking for a challenge, you can also visit the SG75 website. And if you're good in digital artwork or video editing or animation, you can submit your artwork to SG75. Should you be interested to do the optional challenge, then you do not need to submit the physical artwork in your sketchbook. However, I will still need to take a look at your illustration or video editing, and you also need to complete page 1 of this worksheet. Take note of the submission deadline and see you in term 3.